Welcome to Local Gods. My name is Marco Liu.
And I'm James Han.
And today we have the very special honor and privilege to sit down and talk with Daniel Chong, the creator of We Bare Bears and Disney Pixar's upcoming Hoppers, which is coming out this upcoming weekend, I believe. March 6th. Yeah, in television world and YouTube world,
right.
We will be on at the right time.
Sorry, forgot. I mean, it doesn't come out right away immediately? Okay, got you. Okay.
But to start off, I have to say, for the record, or I have to ask for the record, are you Korean? Are you Korean, Daniel Chong?
No, Mark, I'm not Korean, but I have a funny story for that.
Please.
So it was on my Wikipedia for a very long time, and I understand.
Oh, they wrote that you're Korean on Wikipedia?
Yeah, because there's a lot of Korean stuff in We Bare Bears. This is back, when We Bare is happening. There's a Korean main secondary character, Chloe, and we've had K-pop bands on our. Yeah. The reason I think is also because my partner's Korean, and it has everything's kind of connected in that way. But anyways, we hired this actor named Sai Chin one time.
Legendary Sai Chin.
Legendary Sai Chin. She did a voice for We Bare Bears.
Did she yell at you?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. but she's known for that.
But she was lovely also. But yeah, she came in and I was we had some time to kill, so I was asking about her life. And she got a little edgy with me that I hadn't gone on Wikipedia to read more about her.
How dare you, right?
Yeah. And then she was like, because I know everything about you. You're Korean. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
My God.
So I was like, sorry, Tsai. I know. Thank you for doing the research, but I'm not Korean.
What do you like to identify as?
Singaporean. I mean, that's my parents are from Singapore. So Singaporean Chinese, but Singaporean is what I usually
say. Love it.
Yeah.
I just want to set the record straight because, man, there's been a lot of talk about Koreans these days. Stealing Confucius, stealing Tong Hulu, stealing Daniel Chong. I want to set the record straight. Stealing R&B and hip-hop, making it K-pop. I want to set the record straight,
Okay,
man.
set it.
And the reason why I think it's so personal is because we grew up together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, well, I think, some of my most fun memories growing up is just watching you do your thing as an older brother figure, drawing the most amazing things and just breathing life into a lot of the fun stuff that we saw on TV or we played with action figures. I just want to start off with that on a serious note. What are the biggest childhood influences for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think maybe holistically, comedy was always a big thing for me. I loved things that made me laugh. I remember loving comic strips, really. Oh. Were really big influence.
The Sunday Funnies?
Yeah. When that was a thing. Yeah. Does your audience know what that is?
Yeah. Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, but Calvin Hobbes, Far Side, it's funny. I have a huge appreciation for Peanuts now and sort of what Charles Schulz did. But back in the 80s, it was not cool to like Peanuts, and I remember Garfield was the cool thing.
I love
which even
Garfield.
that is ridiculous. He was edgy, man. He had attitude. Yeah. He ate lasagna. He ripped up the curtains. Wouldn't get out of bed. Hated Mondays. Dude, that guy had he had a darkness to him.
A malaise.
Yeah.
He's a Nietzschean hero as well.
Yeah. So that was a foundational thing for me as a kid. So a lot of comic strips. And I also, watched a lot of movies growing up, and I loved weird movies. I loved movies that had weird tones to them. I loved
Donnie Darko.
I go back a little further than that, man.
James is basically on the show just to age everyone.
Yeah, well, you've given me a context to your age demo, so it's a little, maybe a decade before that or more. But I really loved weird movies growing up and just watched tons. And I watched a lot of Saturday Night Live growing up.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the keystones of my life. Yeah.
Oh, you said weird movies. You have to give us some when you.
Yeah, I was trying to get it out of you. I was like, something.
I liked movies like Gremlins. I liked movies like early Tim Burton, like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. And these are really strange, weird movies that had a strange tone, and they were funny, and they were also dark, and they were absurd, but they were also very charming and sweet. And not to step into the movie I'm making right now, but those were huge touchstones for the movie I ended up making at Pixar. So, things like that.
For sure. From what I've read, Hoppers is kind of like Gremlins meets Avatar meets Zootopia. And then some little weird We Bare Bears mixed in a little bit too.
Right. Yeah.
Some stacking going on from what I understand.
Stacking. Yeah. I do like stacking animals.
But were there...
That's my thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and going into, again, those touchstones, were there... Like, did you have a favorite toy? Because the tactile element, I think it's like toys have changed so much then and now. I fully admit this. Like, among the random things you might see me doing is I might be in some random part of LA at any given moment. Like I might be in Leimert Park for the Juneteenth potluck or the Juneteenth block party. I might be in like some random part of SGV for a hot pot night or a mahjong thing. But specific to like this mix of like random things, I love going to the Target or Walmart toy section still.
Yeah.
Actually, that's very true.
It's really fun.
It's always something different. It's fascinating.
And it gives you some clues into what the kids are into right now.
What's interesting, too, is they're remaking a lot of retro toys from my childhood. So I go there and I'm seeing He-Man, G.I. Joe. If I ever walk by a Target, like toy aisle, they're definitely like trying to capitalize on my generation for sure. Because I grew up in this generation, and I love the question, by the way, and I've never been asked that. And it is a very big thing in my life. Toys are a big part of my life. And definitely my generation was targeted because at that time, it was like no limits to making a cartoon and making it basically a toy commercial. Like that was my generation's animation, you know? It was made specifically to sell toys. And it was out of control. But, you know, I will say one of the benefits of at least of my generation, or at least for me, playing with toys, is it did kind of grow an imagination in me because you're constantly playing and coming up with storylines, you know, and using these characters for different things. I have this funny story is, I grew up religious, not anymore, but like my mom was a little careful with the kind of things I played with.
No Spawn, right?
Well, yeah. Well, we had a toy line, and I think the new generation will learn what this is because I think a movie's coming out soon. But it was called He-Man.
Yes,
and it's very like magical, kind of like
there's like mystical.
There's like wizardry.
Surreptitiously homosexual as well.
Yeah.
They were mostly naked and buff dudes.
Yeah,
in like
walking around.
Yeah, in like these hay. They had like hay underwear.
Yeah, they were wearing leotards. Very skin showing for dudes.
But the bad guys were all like they look like demons essentially.
Yes,
you know,
Skeletor.
And my parents or my mom would not buy me bad guys for He-Man. You know, because they all look like demons. They look like Satan. You know, and understandably they did look like it. And so she would only buy me like, you know, good guys, you know, like the normal looking people, which were the good guys. And so I had to be a little creative with my He-Man play because they were all good guys. So I had
bad guys, like spatulas or like
there was what I did was here's the storyline. Okay. You basically create storylines where the good guys turn. Or they have something happens, they go under a spell. Yeah. So you had to be creative, like He-Man or one of his friends like suddenly like ate a potion and like had to, you know, and suddenly was turning on everybody. You know? So you kind of had to get creative because of those limitations.
You have to create your own evil Superman.
Yeah. So that's kind of the funny thing about my play growing up is I had mostly good guys.
Wow.
But just to answer your question though, toys played a big part of my life, and they still are. I still love toys, and I still love tangibly seeing something. Yeah. You know, and I think that's been one of the joys about, especially We Bare Bears, was seeing all the kind of merch and stuff that they made out of that show.
Everything's so like you could just imagine like the squish when you like hold the bears or even hoppers, like you can imagine the squish.
You feel the tangibility, the chunkiness of it. So
Now I have to ask, but before we find out what your favorite toy was growing up, I remember like whether it's like wandering different Chinatowns in America or like being in Vietnam or Taiwan or China. And oftentimes when I'm walking through a night market, I'll be like, huh, that's a We Bare Bears thing. Yeah. I wonder if that's an actual licensed product or some knockoff.
Yeah, you know, I have this really funny video of T-Pain. He was on our show, and he went into some store. And there was clearly, like, I think some knockoff stuff in there. And he was taking video of it, and he was sending it to me. And he was like, yo. And I think I forgot which country it was in, but it was in Asia somewhere. And he was just taking it. He was like, look at all this knockoff stuff.
Oh, my God.
So it was definitely out there. Yeah. But it was a source of pride. I was happy to be knocked off.
Yeah, it's moving. It's getting out there.
Yeah.
Flattering.
There's a demand.
Yeah, it's flattering to be recognized, and then people want to knock your stuff off.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite toy that you remember?
Yeah, I think this toy that I really loved, it was a stuffed animal. I also loved stuffed animals as a kid. I was a soft child, you know what I mean? Like sweet child that loved stuffed animals. I remember when I would go to sleep, I would arrange them next to me, and then I'd wake up and they'd be all over the place. But I love stuffed animals. And I had this little dog, and he had a bib on him that said like little beggar dog, and he had like little hands or paws that did this. And I named him, I think it was Wolfie or Wolfer or something. I've already forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I think that was my favorite toy.
Dude.
And I used to draw him a lot too.
What breed of dog?
I don't know. It was generic, generic dog.
Yeah, generic golden retriever.
But was it like small, or was it like it drooped? It was like so big you could like hang it on your arms. Do you remember?
I mean, I was pretty small when I had it, so I remember it being maybe like that to me at the time. Yeah.
Random memory, like I don't even know if this is still a thing, but you remember how like growing up, St. Bernards would always have like a little keg of like beer.
Yeah.
Or shit. I don't even know if kids know what that means now.
Yeah.
It's like, why is that dog carrying beer around?
Yeah, it's for people who are lost in the snow, right? Or like, they need to warm up, so they'll give them
a drink before they die.
Yeah. Your last drink. Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, that's...
I did not know that.
Yeah, apparently it was an emergency.
That's the best they could do. Yeah. Was just send a dog out to give you some alcohol to soothe the pain. It's a different time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
I just learned that.
So you have this ball of creativity where you have to make allies enemies with your toys, right? And then you have to create these storylines. Did that already like plant the seeds of your eventual career where you're a storyboard artist and you're developing stories for the biggest names in the world, Pixar, Disney, Cartoon Network, like Nickelodeon, all that?
Yeah. I mean, I think toy play, at least in my point of view, a lot of it's storytelling.
Yeah.
You're telling stories, and you're finding ways. And honestly, when we're in the writing room, story room, and we're conceiving either an episode or the movie, you're playing, and you're playing with other, you're playing with your coworkers, you're coming up with ideas, make each other laugh, trying to riff off each other. I don't know if you guys remember playing toys with other people, but you have to kind of have a vibe, like I'm going to be this guy, you're going to be that guy, and we're going to, bring our storylines together and find ways to play together. It's almost the same thing when we're in a writing room.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And we're having fun together. We have to have fun together, especially if we're making a comedy. So it's so funny that it feels exactly the same, and you're chasing it. If you don't have it, you're like, well, how do we replicate that feeling of play?
So there's no room for judgment when you're in that setting.
That's a great point. You're right. Yeah, the last thing you want is people saying like, no, like I don't like that, And obviously as the director, I have to kind of guide the conversation. So there are versions of no I have to say, but I have to find ways to say it that don't shut a person down, so that they feel like it's like, oh, I get what you're saying, but maybe what if we did this, So I'll try to take what you did and move it somewhere else, because my job is to guide the conversation, but it's also to empower people to not feel self-conscious that, oh, if I say another thing, I'm going to get shot down. Yeah. And that's the trick about leadership.
You don't want to like shut off their childlike wonder in them. That's what I'm picking up on. I feel like that would be hard sometimes.
It's funny, now that we're talking about this, I remember playing with some kids who were kind of like that. They would be like, no, that can't happen.
That's right.
Yeah, do you remember that? Like
they're like scripties.
Yeah, no,
on the playground.
No, Darth Vader would never do that. Stop. It's like, and you cannot have that in the writing room.
And those kids were always annoying as hell.
Yeah,
for sure.
They ended up playing by themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure they went real far.
Sorry. Yeah.
That reminds me of a piece of advice a producer mentor taught me years ago, which is like learning how to tell people no in a way that makes them happy, even, is a finely refined skill where if you're able to do that, you're able to lead people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think leadership is a delicate balance, and a lot of it comes down to like your personality comes in. But I think I found that the other part of it is making sure you connect with people and get to know them, and you treat them like human beings and know something about them. And I think when you create more of a personal relationship with people, like that, a lot of your ability to kind of, give notes and sort of, have them tweak things is a little easier, because they feel a little less judged and they know where I'm coming from. They know I come from a good place and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. So that was something I did a lot on this movie, especially because when I was on Bears, it was my first project and I didn't quite know how to be a leader yet. And I don't think I was a bad leader, but I definitely wasn't aware of how important it was to look after your crew and how I needed to connect with them. And I remember after, it was like near the end when the show was finishing. It was the movie, but it was finishing, and I ended up having time for the first time, because we were wrapping up, and I was able to have lunch with a lot of people on my crew, people that had been working on the show for like 6 years, and I just never really took the time to have lunch or dinner or lunch with them or sit down and have coffee with them. And it meant so much to them, and I realized, oh, these are all people, and they're all working really hard to help me make my project. I can't be this person who's just like telling them what to do and just like I'm your boss. I don't want to be that guy. So when I came to Pixar and started working on this movie, I made a point to at least the people early on. Once the movie gets going, you have so many people on the crew, I can't really connect with all of them. But early on, I tried to like just connect with everybody. Have coffee with them, have lunch with them. Also message them, if they do a great job, or if a review doesn't go well, at least message them. Hey man, I think you did great, and mean it. I'm not doing it just because
That's a long way.
Yeah, it means a lot, and I think just connecting with people just makes the collaboration so much easier and enjoyable. So yeah.
One quick aside before we dive into We Bare Bears and Hoppers, of course. I have to ask, given all of this talk of play and imagination and stories, did you ever play Dungeons of Dragons? Because, James, growing up, I always thought Daniel was one of the coolest guys at church.
Wait, he's a DM?
I could a cool guy at church, eh?
I know, exactly. Kind of an oxymoron. But,
look at that guy's Bible. Oh my God.
It has so many rips and tears.
But in my mind, I couldn't imagine you playing Dungeons and Dragons, but it seems like you'd be great at it.
I never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, you're not a dungeon master?
I'll be honest, like that. I wouldn't say there was anything cool about me growing up, but that one, Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sorry, I even back when I was a kid, I thought that was geeky.
I knew it.
It was too much.
That's the line.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I'm talking about you are role playing when you're playing toys, but I don't know. There's something about as I got older and when people started playing them, I was like, I don't think I could do that.
You don't want to go full.
And I remember during the pandemic, I have a lot of friends that do play though, so
nothing wrong with that.
No judgment at all, and I know that and I think it is a source of creativity for a lot of people. So definitely no shade on it. But I remember during the pandemic, a friend of mine tried to get me into it because everyone was at home or doing anything. So
we're all in our
I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. That's cool. I need something to do. It's a good way to build community. And he was like, okay, well, before you play, here's a PDF of everything you need to read, and it was like, no, it was so much stuff, and I was like, I'm out. I can't do it. Can't do it.
Isn't that the dungeon master's job to?
They have to walk you through it, or
no? There was a video on YouTube or TikTok I saw where this lady was talking about Dungeons and Dragons with some actor. And then he was like, I've never really been into it. And then she starts immediately painting a scenario. She's like, well, if you saw, this figure 10 meters away, you have at your disposal a knife or a stick. What would you choose? And how would you throw it? And he's like, I'd choose the knife. And she's like, you're immediately playing.
Oh, that might have been a better way to walk me through.
Yeah, instead of a PDF.
Yeah.
That's wild.
A lot of people would say the ideal DM, Dungeon Master would be like essentially. I know,
nerd.
We've never played it. I've actually never played it.
Okay.
But like the ideal would be like a Morgan Freeman type, right? Where you're literally narrating things and you're speaking reality into existence, right?
Okay.
But speaking of,
am I still the coolest church guy?
Sure. Why not? Why not? Because they don't exist. But We Bear Bears. It had like a 5-year run, right? 4 or 5 year run.
Yeah, I mean,
4 seasons.
I think it took 6 years of my life, but it's like 4. We did 4 seasons, 140 episodes, and a movie.
Sheesh. Yeah, and like you mentioned Chloe Park earlier. Your character. That's been like we were kind of asking our friends that like grew up watching it, and which is weird because in my mind I'm like, oh, maybe like parents of kids that are in their like elementary school years, like they'll have the most vivid memories. But I think your core audience, they're like teenagers now, or even college students. So.
Yeah, and I got messages from them right after the show ended.
Yeah,
and it did get put in perspective how long we'd been on air. Like, because I think it was, we aired in 2015 and we finished around 2020. And people were messaging me saying like, oh, I grew up with this in junior high, I'm in college now. And I was like, oof.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's rough.
Up there now.
Yeah.
COVID years are accelerated.
Yeah.
Chloe Park comes up a lot when people talk about it.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm just kind of curious about that character because not only is that one of the reasons why, like, she's tied into the perception that you might be Korean, but like a lot of people literally, they're like, oh, like, why wasn't there a spinoff? And like, they really love that character in particular. So I'm kind of curious, like, what was the thinking behind that when you were coming up with all that?
I mean, she was always meant to be a secondary character. I would struggle to imagine how to make a show around her. But, I think when you're building your secondaries, it's just who can you complement your mains with, and what can contrast your mains. And I think the idea for her was like a human. Like, I think everyone we surrounded the bears with were outcasts in some way. We had a Bigfoot that was a friend of theirs. We had a forest ranger that was too intense that nobody liked. And I think Chloe was also, she was a prodigy, so she felt out of place in college. She was dealing with not fitting in also. So there were different kind of angles of different characters that were also not fitting in, but they found community with the bears. So I think that was kind of what we surrounded them with. And Chloe specifically was based on my partner's niece. Her name is Jamie, but she has the name Chloe, so it's a combo between the two of them.
Oh, okay.
And I actually created the show with her, or the idea of Three Bear Bears. So I was in a library with Jamie. She was 8 years old at the time, and I was just trying to make her laugh. We were in a library, and I was just doodling, and the stack arrived immediately. Like, I just was drawing 3 bears on top of each other. She found it hilarious, so I kept drawing 3 bears like stacked, doing weird stuff. She was cracking up, and I didn't think anything of it. But then I think I decided, oh, maybe I'll make a webcomic out of this, and I made a webcomic that nobody read, but I enjoyed doing it.
Early adopter. You're
early adopter.
Yeah. I had a couple like people who were like, I love this. But it was like maybe 3 or 4 people, But then when I decided to make a TV show, then I just took that comic and adapted it. But all of it stemmed from my time with Jamie and just trying to make her laugh. So I think the Korean roots are deep, no matter what.
Did you draw the bears individually at first, and she didn't react?
And then I stacked 1.
Yeah.
And then she started laughing. No. Yeah.
And
then 3. It's like,
that would be a great story. But in a funnier way, it arrived together. I just threw 3 in a row. I think immediately, like, one bear is not funny enough. I think there's a part of me that's like 2 is maybe not quite there yet.
But community.
But 3, the power, is the rule of 3s.
Crowd.
That's when it gets funny. So I think those are like instinctual decisions, probably.
Yeah, man. Like, whenever I see bears now, I feel weird when they're not stacked.
I know. Like, what are you doing?
Is their natural
on your
state
own
now for you?
Paws?
Yeah, that's funny.
I just rewatched the movie too the other day, and what I appreciate about it is it seems like it, even though it was made in 2020 or came out in 2020, it feels like it could have come out this year. With the California fires last year, and then everything going on with immigration, and literally these bears, people just hate on them for apparently no good reason, and they just want them out. I thought that was like really interesting that you like seem to work in a lot of real world adult themes into this children's show.
Yeah, I do remember when we were writing the movie, we didn't really have those shades necessarily. I mean, we knew there was going to be a forest fire, but it was an early time when family separation was starting to happen. And I remember we were in the writing room with our writers and leadership, and we were always talking about it. You know, every time we come to the meeting, we talk about what's going on in the world, just because, you know, we're human beings living in the world with everybody else, you know, and we care about these things. And I think I remember us going like, this feels like what we're doing with our movie. Why don't we just lean into it and do it? I mean, it's a dangerous thing because you're making an animated show. Like, do you really want to endeavor into those topics?
Sure.
And also, is it going to come off pretentious? Is it going to come off like, you know, what do you think you're doing? You know?
Yeah.
But it also felt dishonest to not, you know, because it's like you have this situation where, you know, these bears are being taken from their homes and they're saying things that, you know, are very similar to the news. So we just went for it, and, you know, you just try to find the most elegant way to portray it so it still feels like entertainment, but it doesn't feel like you're just trying to bang a message on someone's head. But yeah, it was definitely we were definitely inspired, or at least influenced a lot by what was happening in the world, and then we started writing towards that direction.
Wow.
I think comedy has always been like a really strong element in your work, and I think that it helps kind of like ease those like more rougher edge elements of like whether it's We Bear Bears or other difficult topics. How do you like find humor in everything that's going on right now?
I think I'm an optimistic person in general. I think I'm I'm pretty carefree. I mean, you know, I am aware of what's going on in the world, but I think I'm able to compartmentalize certain things, or at least block some stuff off when I need to. Better than I feel lucky that I have the ability to do that. You know, my partner Renee can't. You know, when the bad things are happening, she really internalizes it, and she can't move forward. You know, it's really tough, and I get that. You know, and I feel lucky that I'm able to, you know, go to work and kind of shut stuff off and just focus. So I think that helps, and I think I'm optimistic, and I think there's parts of me that are very hopeful in general. So I think there's a general disposition that allows me to continue on, and you know, I just feel lucky that I can do that, because it would be really hard to make things and be creative right now if I was really internalizing everything happening in the world. Yeah, I mean, even like when I think of the topic that we went into, not to jump forward too much into the movie I'm working right now, but that I just made. But yeah, I mean, there's environmental and sort of global issues with the planet that the movie deals with, and it's a very dark topic, you know. But I think there's a part of me that when I thought about it, I was like, I don't feel like a lot of movies talk about it, and it's hard to figure out how to write a movie that can be hopeful at the end. Yeah. So that was the goal. It was like, how do you go into this topic but leave people feeling hopeful? So that was the challenge and the goal. Yeah.
Which was the reason you wanted the songs by SZA the way they were.
Yeah.
To give some sort of resolve after like all the things that happened. Correct?
She needed to. It was a tall order, you know, and you know, amazing that she wanted to do the song. But you know, I think I knew that she had the right voice and tone for, you know, melancholy, you know, because you don't want people to come out of the theater and feel like, oh, everything's easy, I can just relax. You want people to feel like there is sadness, there is grief, but there's also hope, and
like
there's also
grounded type of hope.
Yeah, and there's fight, and that's the thing SZA added to that song, because I remember telling her I want people to feel hopeful, and I wanted people to feel like they could go out into nature with your song and listen to it. You know, I told her these kind of things, and she did that. But she also added a fight to the song.
Yeah, it's an anthem.
It's an anthem. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly how I described it to her, or told it to her after she wrote the song. I was like, you wrote us an anthem for this generation to fight and to not give up and to be resilient. And I think that is such a gift to the movie, because she only saw the movie once, you know. We like,
wow, and she absorbed all that.
She absorbed it all, and she did what you're supposed to do, which is tell the story from the main character's point of view. That's what you're supposed to do. And all the music, even the composer needs to do that. You know, think about the main character and write it from their point of view. And SZA did the same thing, you know, and I didn't have to tell her that. And she basically wrote from, our character's name is Mabel. She wrote from Mabel's point of view. And it was, a lot of us cried when we heard it. You know?
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So, yeah.
Wow, I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. And honestly, like from shaping a lot of people's childhoods to doing your own studio theatrical debut, like we have to take a toast for that.
Yeah.
Man.
Cheers.
So, cheers.
We toasting with this?
We are
Yes,
toasting
sir.
with this.
Wait, give
How
me-
did you know?
give me a second.
Yeah, let's get that. Yeah.
She Forest.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. I like this light Chi Fizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sparkling
let us know
beverage.
what you think. It is 0 calorie.
Okay.
It's a sparkling.
Tell me more, Mark.
I think it's delicious.
Yeah. This pomelo, dude. This pomelo is really good.
It's good.
Yeah, it doesn't have the lingering like fake sugar taste to it. So, nice, refreshing 0 calorie treat for you as you are working on set or you're chilling on a podcast, right? But getting into hoppers. Well, actually, I have someone specifically wanted me to ask this question before we get into hoppers.
Okay.
Is We Baby Bears your thing, or is that a Cartoon Network call?
Well, after the movie, I didn't know what I wanted to do either. I was like, you know, I definitely kind of wanted to move on, but I also felt a lot of ownership to and responsibility towards the crew. And the minute I decide not to keep going, they all lose jobs.
Yeah.
So I felt really torn, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But there was a part of me that just felt like maybe we just keep making the show, and everyone gets to keep their jobs, and this is my life for another however many years it takes, or they want the show.
Yeah.
But they brought me to their office midpoint of the movie, and they were like, we love the show. We want it to keep going, but something needs to change. We need something different. And I think a lot of it was that shows around that, at that point, they were finding research because of how Netflix was working and was taking over.
Sure.
That shows that go past 2 or 3 seasons, nobody watches anymore.
True.
So they were like, we need to revamp somehow and market something different. But we love the Bears and we want something. And they were like, what we would really like, you don't have to do it, but we would really like a Baby Bear show. But if you have some other ideas, go ahead. But we would really like a Baby Bear show.
Wink, wink.
And
Nudge,
I was
nudge.
like, so I was like, okay, let me go back to my team. Let me see what we got. You know?
Yeah.
And so we went back, and I basically told them straight up, guys, I mean, we could do our Chloe spinoff. We could try something.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can tell you, if we want just a pure green light, we'd have to do a Baby Bear show. And everybody was down. And but I kind of knew at that point, I don't think I'm the person to show around that show. So I had a director, supervising director at the time. His name was Manny Hernandez. He was with me since season 1. And he came from Pixar with me.
Yeah.
So I asked him to take over the show. And he decided to completely revamp the idea of Baby Bears. And he turned it into, and he has a lot of anime kind of references, and that's his point of reference. So he kind of was really influenced by that, and he basically shifted Baby Bears into a fantasy show, which, you know, it's like magical box, and they go into all these magical worlds.
Very Miyazaki-esque.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we kind of spent a couple months just kind of, I was in the room helping them conceive the pitch and kind of shaping a package to pitch them. And we pitched them like a couple months later, and it was instant green light.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay,
Sure
the
thing.
crew's taken care of.
Yeah.
Manny's got this. He can handle it. He's been with me for so long. I think he's been trained enough. And they kept me on as an executive producer, but I didn't do any creative work with them after I left. But I was there for Manny. If he needed leadership help, he could always contact me. If anyone on the crew needed advice or stuff, I would always be there for them. So I was almost more like an angel, kind of helping them.
So
Whatever
it
they
changed
needed.
from show running, having all the creative influence direction, to now you're just kind of sitting back and
You're the elder god, just
Yeah.
observing
Yeah.
over this Dungeons and Dragons, but fluffier.
Why'd you use that?
It's gonna be a running gag now.
I mean, I will say what I did learn from that process is you definitely have to learn to let go when you when you're in that situation, because I could see, and Manny did a great job with the show, but I can definitely see him making decisions that I'm like, oh, I would have done something different there.
Sure. Right.
But I knew it wasn't my show anymore. I had already told him, like, this is your show. So learning to, like, let go and know that this isn't mine anymore. And that's why I'm kind of glad he ended up going this anime direction, because it feels very different from Bears. So it can be its own thing.
So, and it's his own thing too.
It's his own thing.
Yeah.
I think had it still looked like the original Bears show, it probably would have hurt more, that he was making decisions that I wouldn't have made. But because he ended up making it his own thing, I think I was able to go like, it's his thing. It looks so different. It's a fantastical world, which is not what Bears is. So I think it all worked out fine. And they were in a tough spot because the pandemic pretty much happened right when it did, but they got to keep working for 2 or 3 seasons through the pandemic, and that was a tough time for everybody. A lot of people were losing their jobs, and a lot of our people got to stay on and keep working.
Wow.
And so I'm very honestly, I feel so grateful that all that happened, because I didn't have to deal with the sorrow of getting canceled and having to tell your crew that you got canceled. I didn't have to deal with people losing their jobs, and I got to see the show live on, and I got to move on too. So the best of everything happened with that ending of that show, and I couldn't be happier. So, yeah.
Well, last question before we move on, because one of the listeners asked, like, with We Bear Bears, how much of the creative decision was, like, you were able to just give the green light for stuff, because you first thought of the idea with your with Jamie, and then
you mean
the concept?
The early
with the concept, and then from the to the end of all the seasons, like the whole process, like how much input did you actually have? Was it like every time you had an idea, it was pretty much like green lit, or was there a lot of like push and pull between, like,
are you talking about like executive interference and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I would say overall, I mean, I was a showrunner, so I basically led every decision. But there are all these different check-ins where you show to the executive team, and granted, it was a very small team at Cartoon Network, and the show was very cheap to make, so there wasn't a lot of oversight.
Nice.
And
nice.
And that's the gift you get when you make something that doesn't cost a lot to make, is nobody's really worried about you. Whereas when we start talking about this Pixar movie, it's the opposite. When you make like a $250 million movie, then everybody has financial stake in it and is
for sure
worried, out of their minds, which I totally understand. But yeah, for Bears, these were pretty cheap episodes to make, and there wasn't a lot of oversight. So, they would check in with me, and they would give me notes here and there, and I'd be able to push back sometimes, and sometimes I'd be like, okay, we'll fix that. It would, maybe be 3 or 4 times throughout the life of an episode, we'll have to check in and show them, outline, show them a animatic, show them, different stages. But more or less, I would say we got to run free and do the show we wanted to make. I didn't feel too stifled by them. Yeah.
So jumping from one type of cuddly, fluffy animal to other types of cuddly, fluffy animals, I noticed there were beavers in the We Bear Bears movie.
Yeah. And they're not acting like beavers. They're doing like one of the first things I learned when I learned about beavers is that they don't use their tails to pack mud and like build their dams.
Yeah.
Their tails are mainly to like help them swim and also to like ward off predators.
Yeah.
And I think in the episode we did beavers, we had a shot of them like tapping the mud.
Yeah, being very like industrious beavers.
Yeah. So that's my bad.
But why beavers? Like to go from bears, cuddly, big animals, to beavers, cuddly, small animals? Is there like this ongoing theme of
cuddly,
fluffy, cuddly, like squeezable animals?
I suppose it's the brand now. It's established. I mean, I wanted to do something very different when I came in. The animal I wanted to do was penguins. And this has been,
I love penguins.
Yeah, and it's been
his language.
I love.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. It's his totem.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess maybe my instinct to do penguins. First of all, I really love drawing them. They're really funny, especially Adelie penguins. Do you know Adelie penguins?
No, I don't.
Oh, dude, they're like. They're rough, man. They fight. They knock each other into the water. They're like deli,
like the sandwich deli, or DEHLI?
Adelie, A deli.
A deli.
Yeah. They're really cute.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about them is, when they're young, they're all fluffy and stuff. And then when they grow out, they start shedding. But they shed in such funny ways that it ends up looking like they have weird hairstyles.
I think I know what you're talking
So look
about.
up like a deli penguin babies, and I think it'll be hilarious. But anyways, I was drawing penguins, and I came up with the idea of hoppers or some concept. It was at the time kind of called Penguin Avatar, and I was drawing penguins. And I was drawing penguins in them, and then I pitched it to the head of the studio, Pete Docter, and he liked the Avatar hopping part, but he didn't. He was like, the world doesn't need any more penguin movies. And I think he was right. And, especially around that time, I think it was still very front of mind, like all the penguin movies.
George Miller, great.
They're happy. It was Happy Feet, Madagascar. There's too many. So, when I went to go pivot, I was like, who's the next star? Who's the animal star? I read the story about Yellowstone National Park, and there was this time in when the ecosystems had gone on whack because they had killed off so many wolves. And so all the ecosystem went out of whack because the deer were overpopulated then. No one was eating deer. And then all the grasses were gone because they were eating all the grass. It's like the ecosystem went out of whack, and suddenly there were no animals. Yeah. And, as not as many as before. So they ended up bringing wolves back. They purposely brought a bunch back, and then started bringing the ecosystem back. They're eating the deer. Suddenly the grass is growing again, and blah, blah, blah. And beavers were a big part of that. Once the beavers came back, all the ecosystems returned because they create these ponds. That's where they live, in these ponds in the lodges. And because they create these ponds, they create a wetland ecosystem for fish, birds. Everyone can live there, and they can eat the grasses that grow there and everything. So biodiversity returns because of beavers. They call them ecosystem engineers. They just change the land, and they support biodiversity. Fascinating. And you're like, oh man, beavers.
Unsung heroes.
Unsung, absolutely, man.
That's so cool.
So I think, and then I, obviously super cute. They're up my alley.
Gotta have that part, man.
That part came
spherical looking.
Yeah, round. Yeah, if you Google beavers, it's just round brown balls. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I think this looks right. And then I think we just kept getting lucky the more we learned about beavers, and then we started just centering the story on them. And
Gave you material, huh?
They are in. I look back on it now. It's like I can't imagine doing this movie without beavers. It's like we built the story around them. So it's some of it's luck that we landed into them, but I think they are the unsung heroes, like you say.
So. In regards to Pixar, John Lasseter, one of the Pixar godfathers, very famously had this rule where humans and animals can't interact directly, or it's they can't speak to each other, right? There had to be some type of separation, and you're doing things in a way that I think for a lot of people would be. This is a Pixar film, but there's things that are different. What does Daniel Chong bring that's unique to the Pixar experience?
Yeah, Well, I've never heard John specifically ever say that, but I think maybe what that alludes to is I think there's a lot of logic and rules that I think come with a Pixar movie, and you definitely hear it in the notes a lot of times. People are like, oh, that didn't make sense. I don't understand why that's that. And our movie famously is kind of chaotic, and we have a lot. We do. I mean, animals are wearing crowns, I think maybe at an earlier time, something like that might have got squashed pretty early. It's like, I don't believe that could never happen.
Right, too far out of
it's too surreal. There's no logic to that, or either that or explain the hell out of why you're doing that. Make sure the characters say oh, we forged this thing, and someone gave it to us. You'd have to create a whole backstory and put it on screen, which is not the joke. You don't want to ruin the fun of it. So I do think maybe that there is in our movie a little bit of a freedom of crazy ideas and wild kind of anti-logic within the movie, but I think somehow we made it work. And for example, we had the crown. We were getting notes on that crown. Why is there a crown there? I need to understand it. And we added this line, and it's in the trailer, where one of the scientists sees it and goes how do you get that little crown? And this other crown character goes, that's your question? And that was our way of like saying we acknowledged it's weird, but there's a lot of other weird shit going on in this movie.
Wow.
So just don't think about it.
That's
and,
clever.
And that was our kind of jujitsu to like get the audience to like,
nice.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay with us, you know?
It gets wilder from there.
Like,
huh?
yeah. And then that kind of gave us allowance to keep going crazier by like and once you get people to agree, like, okay, I'll accept crowns. Now,
Well, then they got excited.
Here we go.
Anything is
Here we go.
possible.
Here we go, baby. I got a runway. Let me see. Let me show you what else we can do. You know.
Yes,
Wow.
So these are so yeah. I mean, it's when it comes down to it, it's also a taste thing, you know. And I think Pete Docter, who runs the studio now, he's got a little bit of a kind of more silly taste, you know. When you think of like, and also outside the box, you think of Soul or Inside Out, or Up. These are goofy movies, you know, really in wild ideas. So I think he kind of maybe has a taste that's a little more open to it. So I think Hoppers is definitely the byproduct of a leader like him who is open to that stuff. So
I see.
Yeah.
Mad scientist empowering another mad scientist is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, when it comes to like especially a Pixar film, like there's always an army of people working on it. Like whenever I sit through the credits, like it literally looks like a wall of names. And so you're working with a lot of different people, and we're in this age where technology is everywhere. And I'm sure you were probably asked this, or you have to confront this all the time as someone that works in animation, AI. How does that, like, are there AI elements in the film, and how do you navigate that, especially as someone that like was literally in the trenches, like from Cal State Long Beach to Cal Arts, and then now I've done art shows. I think you've been to one where artists will refuse to participate if like there are computer generated things, and it's like very interesting, that dynamic. How do you navigate it as someone that's at least within this environment at the top of the food chain?
Well, first of all, the movie does not use generative AI. Absolutely not. And I think, you know, aside from the stealing part that AI does require, it's just you can't control it the way we need it to. We need to, you know. I think what I learned making this movie for the last 6 years is that it takes a lot of people to make these movies. It takes a lot of control. It takes a lot of like shifts and changes and nuance that AI cannot do right now. And I also think that it takes a lot of people and their humanity to give it a soul. And I think that is a missing component that I think a lot of people don't realize. You know, and you find out, you know, when you do these press tours and you get to deep dive into the process of making these movies, everyone goes like, "Oh, I had no idea. It was this hard to make. I didn't realize you had to do that to get that outcome, and I didn't realize it would take that long." And so people just, you know, understandably just don't know how hard it is to make these movies. And the reality is it requires a lot, and it requires, at least in this moment, a lot of people to put a soul into a movie like this, in everything, you know, even when it comes down to textures or in movements. That's humanity at play, you know. That's people's experiences and sort of their taste and choices, and also me bouncing off of that and bringing my choices and my kind of experiences to, and we're working together and collaborating together.
Sure.
So at this moment, I don't have a lot to contribute to the conversation because I don't quite know exactly how it's going to affect especially the Pixar process, because Pixar's process is so controlled and so specific and so complicated.
Yeah.
But I also can't be naive to not think it will at some point. And so I think the one part that I definitely don't even know how to begin to talk about how AI could influence is the writing process.
Yeah.
Because that part is so hard. And if anyone has, you know, put things into ChatGPT and read them, it's not compelling stuff. You know,
not at all.
It's not compelling. And when you got to make something original, you know, it takes a long time to craft that stuff. And again, it takes a lot of people and humanity. So that part, I definitely have no idea how that would ever be utilized. So right now I don't know. I'm a very old school in a lot of ways, you know. And I think even Bears, when I think about it, you know, everything about our process was very old school, and it was done in a 2D process, something that's been done for so long. And when I think about my writing process, I think it, at least for now, seems to remain the same. I think it's just going to be me and a couple people, or just in a room trying to make each other laugh and have fun. And what we find compelling, we will put that forward, test it. If it's not working, we'll try again. And that, to me, feels like the only way I know how to do it right now. Of course, again, I'll have to be adaptive, you know, because the technology will shift so quickly, and I don't know where it's going. But for now, I just don't know how I can imagine to replace the human part of it.
So you heard it here first. Beavers and humans are necessary for our survival.
Yes.
On this planet. Beavers and humans are very important.
I like that tagline. I like that tagline. It's good.
You guys also got to work with some amazing voice actors and just some illustrious actors, period, for the film.
Yeah.
What should audiences look out for when they're watching it and they're hearing some voices that are like very recognizable,
iconic?
Yeah.
We feel very lucky. One of the first things, you know, I would tell, you know, our team is our cast has to be very, very funny. They have to. And a lot of that is born from the way we wrote the movie. We conceived it to be as funny as possible. We tried to jam as much comedy and entertainment into this movie as possible. That's what I wanted. And comedy is such a delicate thing, you know. Some people just have it, some people just don't, you know. And even with acting, you know, sometimes you think it's a line, it's so simple. You know, even these throwaway lines where it's just somebody saying something off to the side. Sometimes you either have it or you don't, you know, and sometimes
like any throwaway line. You're saying
everything had to be funny, you know, and there were some lines we would have like 7 or 8 like loop group actors. These are just like voice actors. Try it. And they just couldn't do it, you know. It just wasn't funny enough. So we just keep trying and trying and trying to do it. And to me, comedy is that hard, you know. It's like it's that delicate of a dance, you know. And none of that stuff comes for free. So we worked very hard on the comedy. But just to go back into the main cast, you know, that's why we hired a lot of comedians. We hired a lot of people who, you know, were on SNL or have been on SNL and just have comedic, you know, bones in their body, and they like to play. Because a lot of comedy is, again, going back to that conversation we were just having, you know, it's about being silly and having play and not being self-conscious and just like being open and free. And all of the actors were that way. You know, might be surprised John Hamm is like that, but he's silly as hell.
You don't see it though. No, I could see it.
Okay.
I could see it in him. Yeah.
Meryl's the same way. Very funny, very silly.
Wow.
Just love to play. You know, she put on a really weird voice, and it takes comedy, you know, bones to like make that work. And be consistent with that voice and make it funny.
She made like a persona with a different voice.
She came in with a voice. She had a strong opinion about
4-time Oscar
winner.
That's so cool though. I just don't know. That's really neat to hear.
I mean, we talked, you know, when I initially met with her on Zoom about who I thought this character was and the vibe I wanted and stuff, and she like thought about it, and then she was like, okay, you know. And then we met maybe a couple months later, and she just came in right away off the bat with that voice. And I will say it came with a little bit of trepidation because you don't know how that's going to feel when you cut it in. It sounds cool in the booth, and you're with her, so you're like, whatever you, you know, I'll take whatever you give. But you know, reality sets in, and you're like, how is that going to cut into the movie? But we cut it in, and we were like, oh, she knows what she's doing.
Oh, you must
what do you know?
So much relief.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So but you know, again, it comes back to she has comedic taste. And it really meshed really well with us. Bobby Moynihan, obviously, he was on Bears with me, and we knew he was hilarious. Piper, who plays Mabel, that was a tough role to cast.
The lead.
It's the lead. She's carrying the whole movie. But another really tough thing is it's a female main character who has to yell and has to be aggressive and has to be feisty. And, you know, depending on how you ask, some people get turned off by that, you know, and it is unfortunate, you know, that gender played a big role in how complicated that role was, but it you know, just people have different tastes, you know.
Sure. Well, because they don't want to. Or I want to be elegant, so therefore I can't yell. Is that the vibe? Because I don't think I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people don't have a tolerance maybe for a strong, aggressive woman.
Oh,
you know,
I see.
and a woman who, fights back, or a woman who has strong opinions.
Whether in
You know?
human form or beaver form, it's
Yeah.
like well,
I think the beaver does help soften it, but I think I learned a lot seeing how people react to. We got a lot of notes early on. We don't like her. She's too. She's shrill. Or
Yeah.
she's like
Bossy.
And so it's a tall order for any actor to pull that role off because, I think if I was on Bears, we might not have cared that much because. Bears didn't have to appeal to everyone. We just needed to get enough people that, we could keep going and get our small little fandom and maybe grow. But a Pixar movie has to appeal to everyone, at least as many people as you can. You're trying to get everyone in that net. And so when you get notes from a good enough amount of people who are like, I don't like her, you're dead in the water if people don't like your main character. You're screwed.
Yeah.
So we definitely had to keep working that character. Was the writing and just making sure that we're building up that character enough so you emotionally connect with her and you love her and you understand why she's fighting the way she is and why she cares so much. So that's the writing side, and that's our responsibility. The second part is finding the right person to deliver those lines in a way that people will still love. But she still has to be a fighter. She still has to fight. So Piper kind of came in, and I remember I found her TikTok. And she just had a range of emotions. She could be really authentic and just, kind of just pour her heart out, or she could also bounce off the walls. And she was silly, and she kind of could do everything. And you kind of saw a very real person in that in her. And then we brought her in, and she went through the paces because it wasn't even just me who, for a main character, like a lot of people have to give approval. It's not just me. And so she definitely had to go through the gauntlet to get cast. But once we casted her, she kind of embraced the role, started to live in it really well. And then, I think it was undeniable, after a while, like, oh, we found her. And one of the things that they use to judge if an actor is correctly cast is, can they be funny when they yell? And one of the ways that was early diagnosed as a way to kind of troubleshoot was with Inside Out.
Oh,
because
okay.
Inside Out,
Interesting.
because with Inside Out, you have Joy, who's just a very loud and like overly optimistic, and if you don't do that right, it could be very grating. And I think there have been moments where it could have been a problem, but when Amy Poehler came in, everyone loves her, and she's bouncing off the walls, she's screaming, you still love her, and that's a very specific thing. It's a skill set, and Piper has that.
Wow.
So I think once we kind of started to hear her yell and everyone still was on board with her, we were like, okay. And then you combine it with better writing as we were writing it. It started to all come together.
Ties in. Yeah. Speaking of another element that ties everything in, I noticed for the entire run of We Bare Bears, you guys had really interesting music choices because you guys would do stylistic covers where it's like, that sounds like Smash Mouth. That sounds like Donna Summers. That sounds like all these different classic artists and their classic songs. I know SZA is featured in the film for the closing credit song, but musically, I'm sure that helps build the world too. Are there specific music notes that you want to build in?
It's a great question because when I was on Bears, I didn't have a strong sense of what the sound, would be of the show. And I had an editor. His name was Marcus Bade, and he's a music guy. He does music himself, but he was also our editor. And he started putting pop songs in our episodes, like just scratch, or like pop songs. We would never be able to afford the license for him.
That's what I noticed. I was
but
like,
he just started throwing them in. And I had no idea that my work would work with pop songs, but suddenly I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And so, we would start to kind of use them as temp tracks. And then, my composer, we would do versions of them. We didn't have a budget to get these songs, but I was able to kind of be inspired by pop songs being used in the work.
Yeah.
And it was honestly one of the most joyous discoveries in the process of making something is that, oh wow, like I can see now how, and I love music, you know, and I grew up loving music and playing some music, but I especially just loving pop music especially, and seeing it suddenly like weave its way into my work and seeing how it can plus the comedy and the characters was such a wonderful thing. So having that foundation going into Pixar, we actually ended up putting 3 pop songs in our movie.
Okay.
And we haven't talked about it a whole lot yet, but when people watch it, they'll hear it. And we actually licensed it.
Licensed it. Okay.
So we have
Pixar gives you a little bit more money, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more.
A little bit.
A little more screen.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that just came from my experience working on Bears, you know, and seeing how to weave pop songs into my work. And it's rare for Pixar, and I think that's one of the reasons I think this movie will also feel a little different is that, you know, I think some Pixar movies do one pop song or one known song, but we put 3, you know. Wow. And then on top of that we got the SZA song at the end. So I think those kind of things, maybe to kind of go back into one of the questions you asked, I think those are some of the things that will kind of make people go like, oh, this feels a little different, like something feels I think it'll feel like a Pixar movie, but I think things like that kind of make it feel, it's slightly different.
It's Daniel Chong's
Daniel Chong's
Pixar
movie.
Pop songs change the world, man. So like having it in will make it feel grounded, or there's some relatability to it that maybe I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
Thanks.
Oh.
I have a last question, 1A and 1B for you.
That's 2 questions, Mark.
Just trying to be judicious. I'm trying to be judicious with time because I don't want our producer to kick us out. So heard that, Richie? What is ultimately the message you want people to leave the theater with? Like what you want them to walk out with after watching Hoppers? And then tied more to a practical level, what toys can we anticipate coming out from Hoppers? Because we want to take those out with us too.
Okay. You know, I will say that, and this is not a knock on the question at all. It's a question that I get asked a lot. And it's interesting because I was a little surprised that the message question would come up that much. And I guess I'm a little hesitant to talk about it because I don't want people to perceive like we had a mission to get an agenda, you know. There was no bigger agenda for me than to just have a fun movie that people laugh, and it was a roller coaster that people wanted to be on. But I did talk to Pete Docter about it, you know, because after I did a little bit of press, I went to Pete and I was like, why do they keep... They would lead with that sometimes, you know?
Mark keeps on asking about
this. Well, I think the thing that got me a little concerned was sometimes they would lead with that question, you know? That would be the first thing they would...
so now people are thinking, y'all had this agenda.
And I don't think it's asked out of ill, you know, like
for sure.
They're not trying to like get dirt or try to paint us poorly.
Right.
But I think what Pete told me was basically and he said he got it a lot too. And it's just, I think it's just the nature of what people expect from Pixar. You know, they expect a movie that is not just fun but has a deeper kind of layer to it, and people love to find out what that is. Right. And so it was an education for me realizing like, oh, this is a question I'm going to have to be answering a lot. So, for me, when I think deeper on the things that I cared about, going into making this movie, I think of words like connection and coexistence. Like those things felt very important to me. I think about how we're all animals deep down, not deep down, we are. And that should be actually a connective thing about where we see ourselves in the world with animals, with nature, and our responsibility for the planet, that we're all connected in the same ecosystem. And I think that should be a very grounding thing for us. But I think hopefully it can be a very connective thing for us as people, that we realize that we are all animals and connected to each other, and that we also all have, a responsibility to take care of the planet together. So that's the maybe higher level kind of part that, I wouldn't talk about too much, but it is kind of what the hope was going into it. And just to bounce off that, I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but like, how do you tell a story about all these really rough topics, but leave people with hope? Yeah. And I think what we're hoping, or I'm hoping, is that you leave the theater understanding this bittersweet and sad feeling of what has happened to the planet and the world around us and how we've become so disconnected from people. But also you feel like you have the tools to come out of the other end and find a way to connect, find a way to make a difference, find a way to find a community, and that these are the things that will kind of help you get through. So, yeah, I hope people come out that other side, but I also hope people just laugh, because it sounds stupid in a way, but I've been in so many theaters now, and it's been a long time since I've been in a theater where I've heard a lot of people laughing, and I feel grateful that our movie's doing that.
Yeah.
But how connective is that when we're laughing together with people?
It's healing.
You kind of, it's healing. You kind of forget, like, oh, comedy is a group sport. It's something that we do together. And there's nothing like it, and that already lives out the themes of our movie. People sitting in theater laughing. So at its very core, if that's all it can do, I think it has value in the world.
Righteous cause, dude. Just that in itself. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So is that good enough?
That's more than good enough.
Okay, all right. We have to do the merch question.
Fluffy toys.
Yeah. We do have toys. I will say that it's an original movie. And to merchandise an original movie is a very risky thing.
Yes.
Bears, for example, our merch didn't come out till like a year after the show came out.
Yeah.
And then they were able to ride, as it was successful, they were able to just make more things because they knew there was going to be demand. But if you make merch for an original movie, they've got to make it like a year ahead and prep it for the movie. And then you got to hope to hell that the movie does well, because if they don't, you got a lot of backstock of beavers.
Yeah. Facts.
So I will say, though, there was pretty good confidence in us early on, and I think we got more merch than we probably would have normally got, but we also didn't get that much. So we have little plush. We have a dancing King George. That one was really cute. We have like little, and I kind of posted it on my Twitter, but like these little kind of almost bear things where you can stack, like kind of on fours. That was really cute. And Japan kind of went ham and did a bunch of stuff.
Always, yeah.
So they kind of came through and did a lot of really cute stuff. I think Europe did some stuff, but I think on the whole, a lot of people are just waiting to see if the movie does well. And the unfortunate thing is, then obviously they'll make stuff if the movie does well, but it'll just come late. But
Christmas gifts.
So that is the conundrum for an original movie.
Sure.
It's a huge risk, and I understand that. I'm very understanding about that. It's that's why IP is so important.
Absolutely.
Because they know they can trust that stuff will sell. So that's just where we are right now. So if the movie does well, then you can get whatever you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe knockoffs.
We sure do. That would be the true sign of success, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if all else fails, we can start a beaver club. What do you think about a beaver club?
Should we add a beaver on our logo? Just
Maybe,
add it,
like in the middle.
Yeah.
It'll be like the hidden beaver.
Just rising from the top.
Yeah.
A hidden beaver.
Hidden
somewhere
beaver.
in there.
Okay.
Just like Hidden Hills Club, which is a sponsor of the show. If you're interested in finding out about the secret club, go to hiddenhills.club and join the club and buy some beavers too. Buy some Hopper's beavers. On that note, as we shift from their merchandise to
is this a real plug or is this a?
It was a plug.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's our plug. We like to do like old school radio. We're old school.
We try to just just go with it. Go with it.
I'm with it. All right.
Yeah.
We have some merchandise for you, sir. A gift for being on the show.
Oh, what? Look at that. These are great.
From 1587 Sneakers. It's an Asian American owned brand based in New York.
Oh, really?
And we got you a pair of AP 87s. Yeah.
Oh, rad.
See if they're your size, but
yeah,
they
look like
clean.
my size.
Yeah.
Oh, these are great.
It fits your aesthetic too.
Yeah.
I think.
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
Something for the European press tour.
Exactly.
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
And it has a wider toe box, so I think it would be pretty comfortable.
Okay.
Out the gate.
Good
Good
for
to walk.
Koreans or Singaporeans. Right?
Yeah.
whatever you are.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Daniel, we always like to end with 3 questions, and so James
First
has
question. Yeah. Who is your local god? Who's someone you want to give a shout out to? who you think is underrated, we should know about?
Yeah, I don't know if he's underrated, but I just do want to shout him out because we had our premiere last night for our movie.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
And they asked me who I wanted to invite, and I invited, and obviously it's limited tickets, so I had to be very cautious of who I invited. That's me saying sorry I didn't invite you.
We literally did not even think about it.
It's okay. I wasn't thinking about it.
Why are you
he invited
dragging it out like
T-Pain.
this?
I understand. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
SZA was your date. I get it.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's cool.
SZA, Mark.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, but I knew I did want to invite some mentors that I had that had really paved the way for me or really taught me how to do what I do and had a profound influence on me. And not knowing if they would show up, because a lot of them I hadn't talked to in a very long time. I just shot in the dark. You just ask Disney, can you reach out to them and just find out if they'll come?
Wow.
And the person I asked to invite was Chris Sanders, who created Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he obviously did The Wild Robot and How to Train Your Dragon, stuff like that. And
many things.
among many things. He's the voice of Stitch.
Yeah.
And obviously he's famous, so it's stupid for me to say he's underrepresented. But he kind of he was my first boss when I went to Disney, and I worked on a project with him. And he taught me everything I know about how to run a room, how to have fun running a writing room, and also how to interact with your crew, and how to just be an accessible boss. Because he always had open door, come in anytime, just come chat with me. And he was just very down to earth, and he was fun. So, and he came to the premiere.
Wow.
And it meant the world to me. And
Did you cry when you saw him?
I wanted to. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just told him exactly what I just told you,
Yeah.
And I told him he had a profound influence on my life, and everything I do reminds me of how he ran.
It's very sweet.
The movie.
Yeah.
So I shouted to him just having this profound influence on me, and for coming to support me last night was very meaningful. So is that an okay shout out to do?
Oh,
great.
more than enough.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Second question.
Yep.
Where is your favorite restaurant in the world?
Oh my God. I'm going to give a basic answer that I'm going to wait for you guys to toss your heads back in disgust.
Only McDonald's would do that to him, or Panda Express.
Or Panda Express. Those are two.
How dare you?
All right, here we go. Let me see. Din Tai Fung.
Wait, Din Tai Fung's good.
Oh, okay.
It is the highest grossing restaurant chain in America.
I know.
That says a lot.
I just feel like you guys were probably going to be
Not
connoisseurs.
Me. I'm very lowbrow. This dude's highest of brows.
Okay.
At least he admits it.
I mean, there is a Din Tai Fung in the Bay Area, but it's in San Jose, and I don't want to drive down there. So, every time I come to LA, that's the spot I go to. And I go to the one in Glendale just because I used to live around there and I used to go there all the time. And I bring, a couple of my friends from Bears. We go there and we eat. And because I haven't been there in so long, I check everything.
Wow.
And then
budget, huh?
I'm not saying everything. You know what I mean. But there's a point where I give the thing to the server, and I'm like, let us know if you think this is too much. and they always look at it and they go like, it is a lot, but if you're hungry,
Yeah.
and then we go, do it.
Wow.
And then so I don't know. I mean I've been to the original Din Tai Fung in Taiwan. That was great.
Yeah.
And when I went to Japan a couple months ago, I went to those Din Tai Fungs.
So you only eat Din Tai Fung is what you're saying.
It's if there's a Din Tai Fung, I'm going nearby.
Nice.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing there isn't one closer by in the Bay Area. So
Wow.
that's
Okay.
the spot.
Private flights to Din Tai Fungs around the world.
That's awesome. Okay, and last question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite album? One that you keep returning to.
Yeah. Well, SZA is in the movie for a reason. When SOS came out, it was a lifeline, man.
Wow.
I was in the middle of production. The movie was getting really tough, and it was stressful, man. You have to have a level of obsession to get these movies through the door, And it was kind of eating away at my life, and I didn't know how to cope, and SOS dropped, and it was like a lifeline, man. It's just I just listened to it every day, and I just like it helped calm me down, and that's why it's so poetic to get her in the movie, have her do a song for the movie. And I told her this, that SOS did this for me, and you know, and I still listen to it all the time. So, you know, it's obviously a newer album. You know, if you asked me to go back to the music I loved as a child, I'd probably say maybe Jodeci's first album, or
Jodeci,
yeah,
Jodeci.
But yeah, I would say at least in more recent memory, SOS was the one that got me through this movie. And yeah, I saw her last night. She was at the premiere last night, and cool. Got to talk with her and just tell her how much her song meant to us. Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up because our friend Howie, who is visiting set today,
hi Howie,
asked this question, or wanted me to ask this question. What is it with the giant Mace poster in your
oh my god
garage?
That's so funny.
Who has a giant Mace poster in their garage, especially living in Orange County?
Have you guys all seen it?
I don't think I've seen it. So
how
the hell are you talking about, Howie?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, you might need to explain who Mace is to your audience. My guess
He's a pastor.
Yeah, Pastor Mace,
pastor now.
The pastor of Harlem World.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mace was a rapper. You know, obviously he was with Puff Daddy, which, you know, let's not talk too much about that. But like, so the story is, and it was a fun album. Harlem World. He had a couple hits off of it. But there used to be this record store called Tower Records.
Okay.
Do you know Tower Records? You have to know Tower Records.
My God.
Why did you answer me like you didn't know?
No, I'm waiting. We were see what you're saying.
The last.
Sorry.
Japan has the last. Tower
You guys have to understand
existence.
at my age, like
you have to double check.
I have to double check everything now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know. I really don't. I don't want to be presumptuous that you know everything from my childhood, man. You guys are young. So, anyways, Tower Records, record store for people who don't know. They used to have these giant murals of albums that would come out, and they were like really like big, and they were like kind of cutouts of the artists,
right?
And then it would have like their album, and it would almost be like collaged on the top of the building, and they're huge. And I think, and then after it's over, you know, the album has run its course, they'll throw it away. And I guess my dad, who does not know who Mace is, must have seen them about to throw it away and was like, I'll take that. And so one day I came home from, I think I was still living at home. I was in college.
Yeah.
And I came home, and in the garage was Mace doing this, and then a Harlem World kind of you know, it was like his album cover.
Wow.
And it's
So
huge.
cool.
It was huge. It was like, it felt like it was at least 10 feet by 10.
Oh, it's like the garage door.
It was the whole garage.
Oh my goodness.
And he put it right in the front, so anytime the garage opened, the first thing you see is Mace's face going.
Vibes. I love it.
And he kept it there for years.
Oh,
wow.
He didn't bother to look up who Mace was. Or he just like, that's just part of the house now.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
And so that's the story of the Mace billboard that's in our house. And I don't think it's there anymore. I haven't been back home in a while, but I don't know. Howie, have you seen it? No? Okay, so maybe it's gone. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't
Pastor
know.
Mace.
I know. I don't know if we can end it any better than that.
Harlem World.
Shout
Shout out to Mace.
Mace.
Oh, shout out to Mace.
For people that are excited to watch Hoppers, coming out on March 6th, I believe.
Yep.
Where can they find out more about the film? Where can they find out more about you online?
Well, if you want to find out about Hoppers, just open your door and look outside. I mean, the marketing team is going crazy.
Yeah, I see it on all the buses.
Yeah. I remember we actually we were walking from our hotel to the premiere, and right when we stepped out, a car pulled up and it had a digital billboard of SZA's song there, and it was blasting her music, and it was just driving. You were like,
didn't even know.
They didn't know. It was like, timing was like, my God, it was for us.
Wow.
So yeah, I think the marketing team has, you know, if the movie doesn't do well, it's definitely not marketing. They did a fantastic job, and they were hilarious. They caught the tone, and marketing's a big part of this process.
Absolutely.
You gotta get people, especially for original. It's a challenge. You know, people, they have to find the angle to how do you get people to feel urgency. Like, I got to see that now, you know?
Yeah.
So I give all the credit to the Disney marketing team, man. They're no joke. They really stepped up and they did an amazing job. So, yeah, you step outside. You can look at that. You can go on the internet, look it up. But yeah, it's going to be all movie theaters. It's going to be everywhere. So hopefully people are excited. And it's a movie I want people to really watch with other people. We talked about the comedy part of it, and watching it last night in the premiere, there were a lot of people there I didn't know. Like, there were press and different people there, and just watching it with other people, it's fun. It's a fun movie to watch with other people. I feel so grateful. So that's how you find out about it. Yeah.
How do people find out about you? Like, if they wanted to hear more of your musings and understand.
Yeah, I'm still on Twitter. I mean, I wish I could get off, but I think it is kind of the way to find out what people think of the movie. Okay. It's like, because that's where people are writing. So I'm still on there, and anyone can add me there. Insta, I'm a little more kind of silent, so that's private.
Yeah, what's your handle on X/Twitter?
Just 3 Bear Bears.
3 Bear,
which was that was the original name. That was the original name of the comic.
Okay,
it was more on the nose.
Well, love it. Daniel Chong.
Yeah.
It has been a true honor and privilege for us to have you on the show, and I normally never do this. I never get to do this because this opportunity never comes up, but I have kind of a blast from the past. So if we could get to my camera.
Oh no.
This is something that a young Daniel Chong, I think, still in college. I did a zine for our church youth fellowship group, and I asked Daniel, not really knowing.
Oh, I did that for
your abilities. Yeah, I asked you, can you do our cover for this issue? And Daniel, he made this cover. He took time out of his busy schedule to make this cover for us. Yeah. This is more valuable to me than Action Comics #1, man. This is my Action Comics #1. And I'm showing this because it just demonstrates what a real one Daniel is. We like to recognize and feature real ones on this show, true local gods. Yeah. And Daniel, you are a true local god to me. It's been an honor and privilege to know you.
Thank you, man.
Even when I was a little kid causing trouble, it's an even greater honor and privilege to know you now, and we're all so proud of you, man.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah. Thank you.
If you like what we're doing here on Local Gods, please like, follow, subscribe. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
everywhere. Everywhere. Give us 5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Peace.
See ya.